Earlier this week, my friends and I got together and we're talking about so many things. Of course, when friends meet, they talk. And one of the things we talked about got us in a mood. Not a very good mood, actually. It got us somewhat depressed. So the thing that got us in a not so good mood was we said to ourselves that, oh, this is June. June is legit coming to an end, which means that 2024 is halfway gone. So what have we done? What have we achieved based on the goals we set for ourselves at the beginning of this year? My friends form part of my accountability community. Of course, we share our goals with one another, we share our plans, we share our dreams with one another. And that's how we have an idea of what each person is supposed to be doing for the year. We're just asking ourselves that, oh, but you said you were going to do this. Emmy, you said this year you were going to do this. How far with that? Have you done it? Have you even started doing it? Are you doing it on the background? Why are we not seeing it yet? And it just occurred to me that I have not made progress on some of the goals which I set for myself at the beginning of the year. And then I got depressed. I started feeling bad. We all started feeling bad because we just took turns evaluating and all of that. So some people had made reasonable progress on some goals, but on others, no. And so it occurred to me that it is halfway gone 2024 all over the world. Everybody all around the world have already used up 6 months of their year. And then I started thinking about the people who, just like my friends and I, were in a place where they are contemplating about their lives, thinking about the goals they set for themselves, thinking about where they thought they were going to be at this point in time, thinking about the progress they have made on the goals which they set. The way you planned it out is not falling in line, and then you start feeling depressed, you start feeling hopeless, you start feeling like quitting, you start feeling like you want to dump out some of these goals. You start telling yourself that, was this even realistic? Because that's the mood I got into. I got into a mood where I'm like, maybe these goals were unrealistic, that's why I've not achieved them, that's why I've not made any move on them. Later on, I got to realize that yes, some were unrealistic, but no, that wasn't it. That wasn't everything at all. That is why I decided to do this video today, because after that brief moment of feeling depressed, my friends and I were able to just process it the right way. And even when I got back home, there were a few things I just did, and I was able to get back to a place of feeling hopeful, happy, joyful, and smiley. Yes, this smile is not fake. It's from a happy place because, yes, 6 months gone, some goals have not been achieved. And so what? Hello. I'm here to share with you a few things I did that helped me get out of this place of depression. Before we get into it, if this is your first time or stopping by my channel, thank you for stopping by. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell so every week when I post a new content, you will be notified. Safe to say that this channel is a home for inspiration, motivation, entertainment, and fun. Here we just get to share stories, experiences, and tips of how to navigate life and still stay motivated. Even though life is constantly throwing curveballs, obstacles, challenges, and all of that, yes, we can still stay motivated. We can still face life being happy, because your life is so beautiful and precious. You need to make the best of it every step of the way. Let's get into it. Now, if you are in this place where you're feeling challenged and defeated and hopeless and discouraged because it's 6 months gone into 2024 and things are still looking uncertain, unsure, so many things are still blurred. First thing I want to let you know is you are not alone. Oh my God, you are not alone. I've been there. Just earlier this week, my friends and I, we were there. And there are a few things which I did to get me back to a place of feeling hopeful and passionate. The first thing you want to do is acknowledge your feelings. This is very important. You can hide from the world, but you cannot afford to hide from yourself. If you are hiding from yourself, then you cannot help yourself. And in this journey of life, you need you to be able to make it through. You are not the only person you need to survive, but you need you to be present, to be authentic, to be real with yourself so that you can make it through. When you get into this mode, be real with your feelings. Acknowledge your feelings. Acknowledging your feelings would look like talking about it the right way. The thing about our feelings is if we do not go about addressing it the right way, they're going to burst out the wrong way, and you don't want that. Now, because this conversation came up when I was talking with my friends and I considered them a safe space, I was able to just talk to them about how I was feeling. Not just me. We all took turns just talking about our emotions, like, this is making me feel this, I feel this, I feel this. The next thing I did while still acknowledging my feelings is when I got back home, I wrote it down. I wrote down how I was feeling, and the page doesn't really look like a page because while I was writing it down, I was crying. Of course, it got me emotional, so I was writing it down, everything that I was feeling, every emotion that came up at the time. As long as I could put a name to it, I wrote it down. And the next thing I did was I took it to God. I did not just talk about it with my friends, and then come and write it down in my journal. So every time I'm reading through that page, I start feeling depressed. I took it to God. It is important to always take it to God because that is where you get the positive perspective. In addressing your feelings the right way, you don't just want to talk about it and leave it there. You want the end result to be talking about it with God. So I addressed it with my friends, I addressed it with myself, and then I talked to God about it. Sometimes when I'm dealing with stuff, I just resolve to addressing it with myself and then taking it to God. So it is really subjective. It's not compulsory that you must talk about it with your friends or with your mentors or with your coaches, or it just depends. But whatever the case, go about it right and let it end with you taking it to God. So after acknowledging my feelings, I could not just stay in that place because yes, I cried a little bit. It was time to get up and take actions. I had to revisit and reevaluate my goals. I went back to where I wrote the goals for this year, and I started revisiting every goal, the objectives I set, the action plan, and then I started asking myself questions like, what happened? I said I was going to do this by March. This is June. Why did I not? Okay, this was the action plan. In order to have done this by March, there was this thing I had to do by January. Oh, I didn't do that. That's why I couldn't do this other one. I was reevaluating like that. And I also realized that for some of these goals that I had not made any moves on, the reason was because life took another turn and I did not readjust my plan to fall in line with the turn which life has taken. Instead, I just put it on hold and I'm like, okay, this has happened. Let me deal with this first. And by the time I'm done dealing with this, everything will fall back in line and then I will go back to the original plan which I had. Unknown to me, sometimes when life takes another turn, it doesn't turn back. It takes another turn and just keep going in the direction of the other turn which it has taken. So I was waiting for life to come back this way so that my plan can fit in, as opposed to being flexible and tweaking my plan such that they fall in line. So I revisited and I reevaluated my goals, which gave me a brighter perspective. For some of the goals, I needed a fresh new plan, which was a good thing because I was able to plan better, strategize better, and now I think I have a better plan for some of those goals. Just the fact that I was able to craft a better plan around that kept me happy and hopeful. So that's the second thing you can do to help you out. Now, the third thing you can do is something I talk about a lot. In fact, I did a whole video just elaborating on this. The third thing you want to do is focus on progress. Oh my God, I did that. I took a piece of paper and I started writing down everything I've been able to do over the last 6 months, not necessarily relating to my goals. Because sometimes we lose sight of everything that we are doing because we are so fixated on our plans, the goals. If I've not done something relating to my goals, then maybe I've done nothing at all. That's not true. I realized that I did so many other things. The list was so long. And in fact, it got me to a place where I started repenting for feeling bad and discouraged because I have done a lot. In just 6 months, I have been able to do a lot. There's so many things I have done may not necessarily be directly related to the goals I set for myself, but it is success. It is progress. And unknown to me, those things I highlighted, even though they were not in line with the goals, somehow they all contributed to the bigger picture of my goals. You may not have done the things you thought you would do, but you have done a lot. you have come a long way already. Which also brings me to the next thing. One thing that keeps me rested whenever I get into this mode is I plan for my life. I look at my life holistically, and it's not just about this year. I'm looking at my life, I'm looking at what I have to do for my life generally, and not just focusing on what I have to do this year. Because if that is your focus alone, by the end of the year, if you have not done it, you may feel like a failure and then you may drop it. Looking at my life holistically helps me such that even if I'm not able to achieve that goal this year, this next year, it's still my life, right? It's still me becoming this person. It's still me living in that fancy house. It's still me riding that fancy car, right? I may not ride it this year, but this next year, this year after next, this 5 years from now, and I can still plan around to have it in the future. So looking at your life holistically, put your mind at rest. Am I saying that be lazy on your goals? No. Am I saying that don't take advantage of the time to become all that you can become now? No. All I'm saying is it is your life, and your life is not limited to this year alone. So don't limit your life to a particular year. When I went through my goals again, I'm like, okay, you know what? I may have to push this one forward. I didn't do it this year. Let's get real. I cannot do it this year. Okay, I'll make plans around it. But then, from every indication, this can only be done next year or the year after next. And I was okay with that because either ways, it will be done. So I'm not putting myself in a position where this thing that I said I would do will never be done because I did not do it this year. No. You missed out on this year. So many beautiful years are coming. Always look at your life from a holistic point of view. But if the goal I set for this year does not come to pass, next year we'll try again and we'll see how that goes. And just like that, I got myself out of this place of feeling depressed and hopeless and discouraged. I remember phoning one of my friends and I told her, girl, you know what, if the year were to end today, I'm good because I've gone through it. I've had this perspective, and I have achieved a lot already. I've done so much in just 6 months. If this were to be December, I am so good. It was like a big transition for me because a couple of days back, I was feeling like, oh my God, I'm so depressed, I'm hopeless, this is bad, I feel low, I feel down. And few days later, I'm feeling like, okay, the year can end now because guess what? It's been good so far. And the only way in which I was able to get to that place is because I took the right action, which helped me back to a place of motivation and joy. And yes, again, the smile is from a happy place. I'm happy. 6 months, God. But let the year not end now. Just 6 more months and we're good. But I'm just saying that if the year were to end now, I think I'll be okay. I'll be okay with that. The truth is, if you don't make these assessments for yourself, society is going to help you assess it. And it's not going to be pretty. It won't be pretty at all. I've seen memes online talk about, this is that year where you said you'll be married. It's 6 months. It's June already. Have you found a girlfriend? Are you engaged? Are you in a relationship? I just want to remind people who said they'll build a house this year. 6 months gone. Have you bought your first bag of cement? We laugh about it, but that's real pressure. That's real pressure. So in order not to be carried away by the pressure that society is throwing on you, assess it for yourself so you get a firm balance. And remember that you're not alone. It's okay to feel this way. It's okay to feel discouraged every now and then, but make sure you are addressing it right. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching, hit the like button, and also please drop a comment to let me know your thoughts. And of course, I'll see you in my next video. But until then, stay motivated. No, seriously, stay motivated, stay inspired, stay hopeful. And always remember, I am Emmy. When Emmy speaks, she speaks to the world. Are you listening? Bye.